Welcome back. Africa's road safety is in the spotlight once again after around 50 people died in a bus crash in Kenya. The bus was traveling between Nairobi and the western city of Kisumu when it swerved off the road and repeatedly rolled down a slope early on Wednesday morning. President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent his condolences to relatives and says authorities are investigating with the intention to take action. According to a report, some 2,345 people have died in road crashes across Kenya in the past 10 months alone. This marks an 8% increase in fatalities compared to last year. During a recent International Transport Forum summit, it was revealed that Africa has 2% of the world's cars, but accounts for 20% of road deaths. The World Bank has cut its 2018 economic growth forecast for sub-Saharan Africa to 2.7%. That's from an earlier forecast of 3.1%. This is mainly because of slower than expected growth within larger African economies.
The bank's Pulse report blames the slow pace of recovery on three of the largest economies, namely Nigeria, Angola and South Africa. It says higher oil prices were offset by lower production in Angola and Nigeria, while in South Africa, weak household consumption growth has been compounded by a contraction in agriculture.
Africa will grow at a rate of 2.7% in 2018, and that's just slightly higher than the 2.3% we had in 2017. This is certainly better than 2016, where Africa grew only at 1.5%. But this is just slightly above population growth. So we need to sustain reforms. We need to boost growth in our three largest economies, Nigeria, South Africa, and Angola, where the recovery has been extremely sluggish, therefore pulling down the average growth for Africa, where most of the countries are actually still growing at a hefty rate.
The bank says slow growth is partially a reflection of less favorable external factors.
There are increasing risks in the international environment. For example, trade war between our main trading partners that may imply a lower demand for our products, especially in China. There are increasing tensions in the international sphere, increasing protectionism and isolationism that threaten global trade and may have an impact on Africa.
Countries in the region that are doing well include oil exporters in Central Africa, which have been helped by higher oil prices and an increase in production. Economic activity also remains solid in fast-growing non-resource-rich countries like Côte d'Ivoire, Kenya and Rwanda.
Shifting to conservation matters now, elephants roam freely in a Tanzanian game reserve while rangers get a peaceful night's sleep. This is thanks to new technology designed to protect these endangered species from poachers.
U.S. philanthropist and Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen and his colleagues have developed Earth Ranger. The platform helps fight poachers using sensors and drones. From Earth Ranger's operations room in Tanzania's Grumeti Game Reserve, rangers view screens where they can observe every elephant fitted with a trekking collar. The project's in response to a surge in ivory poaching in Africa, where the elephant population fell around 20% between 2006 and 2015. In its early stages of development, the tech platform was named the Domain Awareness System.
What we do with DAS is we monitor all our assets, every colored animal, and we also input data, which in turn helps us make decisions and plan operations on when we extract the data and analyze it.
Remote sensors, trackers on radios and vehicles, camera trap photos and data from GPS-powered geofences give rangers a clear view. The platform was developed through Allen's Vulcan Inc. When threats are picked up through data, scouts and rangers are alerted.
Earth Ranger allows you to, it takes you from being reactive and always behind and always after an animal has been killed or a ranger has been injured or killed, to being proactive, to really being able to anticipate and get ahead of the problem. And that not only helps you save the animals and hopefully saves the rangers' lives, it makes you able to use all of your resources more efficiently and more effectively and stretches those conservation dollars.
The technology has helped save lives of elephants and also protect staff from poachers.
Hapo awali kazi ilikuwa ngumu sana, na kwa sababu kazi ilikuwa ngumu kwa sababu, kwa mfano, kama ukipata taarifa unaweza kutoa kwa kutumia muda mrefu sana, na mpaka uandike kwenye notebook utume huko kwenye radio room, na mawasiliano na yenyewe yanakuwa kama ni magumu. Lakini sasa hivi kwa kutumia dasi unaweza kutoa taarifa kwa sekunde chache tu, muda mfupi, na kazi inakuwa rahisi. Kwa upande wangu mimi kazi imekuwa nafuu zaidi. Nafanya kazi kisomi sasa.
Developers hope the system will help curb human and wildlife conflicts in places like Kenya and Tanzania.
Now for a look at what got tongues wagging on social media. Unionized workers have shut down a busy terminal at Lagos's Murtala Mohammed Airport. Wednesday's protest was against alleged anti-labor activities and the sacking of 20 staff members. Hundreds of passengers were left stranded as a result. Fake medicines pose a serious challenge for many African governments. Ivory Coast recently seized 400 tons of fake medicines over 2 years. The World Health Organization says counterfeit medicines cause around 100,000 deaths annually. The illicit sector has a turnover of at least 10% of the world pharmaceutical business, meaning that it earns tens of billions of dollars a year. A new documentary film, Lianna, puts a twist on the art of African storytelling. 5 orphans tell their stories through fictional character Lianna. In 2010, the filmmakers went to an orphanage in Swaziland and captured the children working with South African storyteller Gcina Mhlophe. They created a story of courage and perseverance. Actress Thandi Newton, who regularly performs philanthropic work in Africa and whose mother is Zimbabwean, is the movie's executive producer.
I know that from the work that I've done in Africa, the way to truly help is to give resources, but allow people on the ground to make their own decisions about how they want to tell their stories, have their stories be transported around the world.
Well, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Join us again next week for more news from across the continent.